Hello and welcome to Way of the Samurai 4. This is Michael, my channel, Simply Gaming. It's pretty new, this is going to be one of my first uploads, so hopefully you like it. Like I said, it's Way of the Samurai 4. It's made by Spike Chunsoft and developed by Acquire. Anyway, I think it's a really cool game. It is sort of like an RPG. It takes place in a small, made-up town in Japan called Amihama. And it's got multiple endings. Essentially, you're just a Ronin that comes in and starts changing things up. So, right now I'm in a new game screen. This first video is going to be going through one of the easiest endings to get, the Demonscale ending. So, yeah, I'll probably end up doing all of the endings as I go through, but for now we'll just do this one. So anyway, as you can kind of see, we're in sort of a character creation screen, so you can change your name throughout all of your playthroughs, even though it's, you know, kind of technically the same character. So this is sort of the character creation screen. Gives you a decent amount of options. There's no like sliders or anything, but it lets you pick certain faces that are applicable. So obviously there's quite a few. You can be everything from a foreigner, which is essentially, you know, a white person. I think they're from Britain. You can also be pretty much any character that you run into for the most part in the game story-wise, like Hikaru Kotobuki, which I know I just butchered the name, is someone in the Magistrate. He's actually, I think he is the Magistrate. And you can also be a woman, of course. So it's actually pretty neat how much leeway they give you when it comes to creating your character. I mean, I could literally go out just like this and play the game if I so felt like it. So anyway, there's that. Same thing with the hair. You can have the hair of almost any character you run into, but I will kind of stick with what I know. Yeah, it's actually pretty funny because a lot of the scenes and stuff, they don't change what you look like either. So if I were to go out like this, all the cutscenes and everything I'm involved in would look like this. But let's go with something a little bit more presentable, I guess. Alrighty. There's also full body outfits that you can get. Most of them come from unlocks that you get throughout the game. And there's also preset characters that you can just pick. And once you, I think, get the final true ending, they allow you to change the figure of your character, so you can kind of change the height if you want to. So there's that. So let's just call that good. Apply the changes. The accessories are actually really fun. As you can see, I have a gigantic beanstalk in my mouth, which I will go and get rid of. Yeah, you can equip pretty much anything, and you can also change the way it looks. So yeah, a lot of good customization here. So why don't I go with no, a human pig mask. Huh. Let's go with a pattern mask, and because as you can see it's kind of clipping through the nose, that's why they let you go in and edit a little bit, so you can just change the position a little bit. Yeah, just one. Perfect. Now it looks good. You can also change the size, make it comical if you so felt like it. And you can put on a ton of different stuff. So why don't we go with muffler. And a Hikasa. I think that's fine. Weaponry. One of the big parts about this game is that there is so many weapons. There is just way too many weapons almost. Pretty much any weapon you see someone carrying, you can take their weapon. You also get tons of different sword fighting. styles, hand-to-hand, spear fighting, which, you know, this is just some of the styles that you can use. There is sword fighting, hand-to-hand, spear fighting, gun fighting, and dual wielding swords. So yeah, with that done, I think we'll just get started. Save the character. And alright, we'll get started. So, normally when you start the game, you're riding on the boat with this guy, and after a few playthroughs it does what it just did to me, which it brings you just right here to the island. But yeah, it'll start with some tiny conversation with the boatman. You can kind of ignore him or interact with him a little bit. So the controls are pretty basic. I'm using a controller. I think it works better with this game, but you can use whatever you want, keyboard, mouse, whatever. So this is kind of the intro area. Since it's not really important to the ending I'm going for, which is the Demonscale ending, I'm just going to skip it, but I'll show it in other videos, since a few different options in there allow you to choose the true ending. So in order to skip the event, you just go to a different area, go back, and it'll give you a little scene.
Mate!
どうやら戦は収まったようですね。
やれやれですな。
なんだ、もう終わりか。わざわざ船を降りて見物に来たのに残念だな。
So that kind of gives you the idea of the factions that are in the game. You've got the Magistrate, which are these gentlemen in black coats. The Prajna, which is kind of like the local gang. And then you have the Europeans over here. All of them obviously not doing too well for themselves. So again, with the Demonscale ending, it's incredibly easy to get. You literally don't have to do anything from now until the point that you get to the ending. I'm gonna switch to my main weapon, and let's work on getting that ending. It looks like I need to repair my weapon, so I'll do that. Yeah, in the bottom left you can kind of see my health bar and my stamina bar, which health is green obviously, stamina is that purplish blue color, and then the bottom left is my sword or whatever weapon you're using, and then the cloud-shaped icon behind it that's reddish yellow is kind of indicative of my durability. So as it starts flashing more and more, it means I'm farther and farther towards having my sword broken. So this is the dojo. The dojo carries over through playthroughs, so before, when I was actually running the dojo, which I'm not right now, I had to recruit all these characters, and then with every playthrough you have to end up buying the dojo back from this gentleman for 3,000, or you can beat Sensei here, who you can recruit through alternate methods and get the dojo back that way. And with that, well, I won't show you in here, though I'll get upset if I draw my weapon. All of your money carries over between playthroughs. You don't really need much for this one. As well as all of the weaponry you keep. Like I said, there's a whole ton of weapons in this game, and styles and moves. But the bigger part of it is the blades, guards, and grips here. You can literally destroy, not necessarily destroy, but gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? Disassemble every weapon that you run into. And you can create just complete abominations if you feel like it, or recreate weapons in ways that make them nicer. Same with guards and grips. So a decent amount of detail went into the weapon crafting. I'm really impressed with that part of it, all up until the charm part. So down there you see the charms, pitching, fortune, big shot. The way the charms work is you have to line up charms on the blade, the guard, and the grip. So sometimes it can take hours of forming and disassembling swords because the charms change every time you disassemble to get what you want. It took me about 9 hours to get the charms I wanted on my sword. So that kind of gives you an idea of just how ridiculous it can be if you let it. So yeah. Normally, you can sleep in an inn or you can sleep with these mats outside. They do affect your crime rating in the town. If you sleep outside, it gets a little bit worse. Nothing really terrible. But if you sleep in an inn, it'll actually get better, so long as you pay. So, in the Demonscale ending, all you really have to do is not join any faction, which is to say not do any missions for any faction, and then join the tournament, which starts on day 3. Or day 4, actually. So, with that done, I'll go and get my sword repaired. This is the blacksmith, it's Dojima. He's actually a character you have to recruit, but I won't be going into that in this video. And usually with him you always want to pay. If you don't pay, he'll not work on your weapon for the rest of the playthrough, which can make it kind of difficult to get through the game. Oh, this is actually pretty neat. Another cool aspect about this game is that as you make characters and go through endings, your characters actually show up, and you can kind of bump into them and fight them. In fact, if you bump into them, they'll do nothing but try to kill you, so there is one type of weapon in the harder difficulties that I think you can only get through killing yourself, or your past self, in just that manner. So let's go to the main plaza. You have to go through this scene. And you eventually see this scene enough times that you don't want to see it anymore, but I'll go through it just this once. That little bubble to the left means that I can say stuff if I wanted to. Doesn't really change anything.
今非常時にあるのです。一刻も猶予はなりません。それがわからぬ愚か者は容赦できないのですよ。 私は治安回復に来たと言いましたが、血を流すためだけに来たのではありません。皆に素晴らしい贈り物も用意しているのです。明日この広場で剣術大会を開こうと思っています。誰かつまみ出してください。腕に自信がある者はぜひとも参加してください。身分は問いません。勝った者はマリン組に取り立てます。
聞いたか？俺たちも侍になれるぞ。五大老様の家来になれるなんてすげえな。やったぞ。
どう思う、小暮？
何を考えているのか。
いいね。実にいい。悪意に満ちたオーラ、ゾクゾクするよ。面白くなってきたよ。
And that is that scene. I'll probably skip it from every other ending I do on. Also, the action I could have done was draw my sword, which basically just means I fight a handful of Demonscales and then nothing happens or changes. So you go through that scene, you go back to where you can sleep another day. Also, when he shows up, the Demonscales start running around. So they'll be the ones to kind of haul you in if you commit crime instead of the typical magistrate most of the time. So actually the mat's over here. So normally before that event happens, there's usually a lot of quests and things you can do that lead up to that, but I will be getting to those in my other videos.
よってらっしゃい、見てらっしゃい。剣術大会、いよいよ始まるよ。この大会番付には出場者の流派、経歴、漏れなく載ってるよ。勝ったことは勝って優勝者を見事当てようじゃないか。
Alright, so now the battle tournament's up. Get him out of the way. It's usually just kind of fun to fight your former self.
「いよいよ剣術大会が始まるぞ。身分を問わず誰でも参加できるって言うけど、俺包丁しか握ったことないもんな。
勝ち残ればマリン組に取り立ててくれると言っても、ほら女房にも負けてるし。
So that's one of 4 scenes that you can see if you, or before you can do the tournament. So if you don't do any missions for any of the factions, then that's the scene that you get, which allows you to join the tournament to fight for yourself. Doing any of the 3 missions, any 3 missions of any other faction, lets you join the tournament under them. But no matter what, you have to see the scene before you can actually enter the tournament, which you do so right here.
壮観ですね。
熱気ムンムンですわ、お父様。控え室も命知らずであふれんばかりだよ。何やらゾクゾクしてまいりましたわね。
みんな立身出世を夢見て浮き立っているな。これで不平不満が解消されて町も静かになるだろう。いや、五大老様の神領遠望には心底感服いたしました。
確かにな。町の浄化にはつながるだろうよ。
私見ていられるかしら。自信がありません。
ローラ様には少々刺激が強すぎるかもしれないね。
これより剣術大会を始める。参加者はくじで選んだ相手と戦い、先に一本取った者が勝ちとする。見事3回戦を勝ち抜いた者がマリン組の一員となる資格を得る。獲物は問わない。真剣勝負だ。これより第一試合を始める。両者入場せよ。
Now that's some swagger.
俺は箱根の山賊よ。大名行列を襲うこと数えきれず、奪った金が1万両、下がった女も1000人。俺がマリン組に加われば無敵だぜ。来い、俺の斬馬刀で真っ二つにしてやる。
始め。
Ow. Alright, so there's two ways to win fights in the tournament. You can do it the lethal way, which I'm going to do with this guy. And then you can do it the non-lethal way, which I'll show in the next fight. Guess I'll stop trying to use my special move. Yeah, he's got some range on that thing. Range can be a really big factor in sword fights on this game. And if you want their weapons, you can usually take them.
山賊のままでいればよかった。
一本、それまで。
You can do that just by kicking it, which is much faster than the normal way.
「これより第二試合を始める。両者入場せよ。」
お主、犬を連れているのか？
五兵と銀八、俺たちは一心同体だ。誰にも文句は言わせねえぞ。
まあいい。いかなる武器の持ち込みも許されている。犬も武器と考えれば問題ないだろう。
銀八、待て。
では始め。
Alright, so that's not the button I wanted to press, so I can reverse my sword, which is something you can do with all weapons, which makes them not lethal. And he actually flips the sword over, which is really cool. So basically what this means is that I'm going to be attacking his stamina instead of his life, and once you drop it all the way to the bottom, you can interact and end the fight that way. Looks like the ref is getting a little bit mixed up in the fight here. Alright. And just like that, the dog would leave me alone, which it just does not seem to want to do. Good, I call this match, but you gotta be careful because give up is right above it.
一本、それまで。
銀八、おらまだまだ修行が足りなかったな。次こそは絶対に勝ってみせるぜ。いよいよ最後の戦いだな。
残ったのはつわものばかり。気を引き締めねば。
The reason why the camera angle is so weird is because I made my character tall when you could change that
これ
setting.
より第三試合を始める。勝ち抜いた者は晴れてマリン組の一員だ。両者入場せよ。
悪いが命をもらう。
では始め。
Alright, since I showed you the reversing option, I may as well show you the other ones. So some styles give you multiple stances, like my current one has 3 stances that I can pick from. You can also do dual wielding if you so choose. I don't have a good style for it at the moment, so I'm not going to use it. Then you can also go unarmed. And I suppose to kind of explain why they can just hit me and I don't take much damage would be because of my weapon's charms. It's a life and death charm, which basically gives me infinite stamina. And you need full stamina, or not necessarily full, but you need some stamina to be able to recover your health, like you just saw there. Which also works for them as well, so when you're fighting on harder and very hard difficulties, it gets really hard to beat enemies without taking out their stamina bar first. Anyway, I'll put an end to this. And that's it. That's all you have to do to get the Demonscale ending. Just beat the 3 opponents, watch the scenes, and you're good to go. Well, I guess you also have to walk back here.
これにて全ての試合が終了した。ただいまより表彰式を行う。見事に3つ勝ち抜いた者たちは速やかに表彰台へ上がれ。
何やら嫌な予感がするが、まあいいか。
諸君、勝ち抜きおめでとう。私は感動しました。君たちこそ武士の中の武士、真の侍です。今日から諸君は名誉あるマリン組の一員です。私と共に使命を賭し、幕府を守り支えてください。
こうして一人の侍がマリン組に加わった。侍は幕府のために大いに働き、マリン組の名を高め、マリン組にその男ありと知られるほどにもなったのであるが、なぜかその名が歴史に残ることはなかった。
Alright, that is the Demonscale ending, at least the most simplest way to achieve it. We'll just skip the credits since they don't really matter. So yeah, at the end of every one you get a grade and some samurai points. You use samurai points to buy unlocks. And it kind of gives you the stats for everything else he did. Like all of the titles you've earned, as well as your game stats for that particular life. And as you can see, I've gotten all the endings. So this was as a Demonscale. So the next one we'll check out is probably Boiled Samurai. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully it was something you enjoyed.